Today is a very big day here. I've been waiting for this for like over a year, and I've been putting it off so very long because it's kind of costly. Something that I just really want to let it hang out as long as I possibly can because I have too many other projects. So here we are. Today is the day. Finally getting a transmission for our Duramax. This thing is going to be back in action, and it couldn't come at a more perfect time. We got George making over 600 wheel. We got Laz making some really big power. This is going to be really, really fun. I can't wait to have a shop showdown. This is going to be so much fun. So we just got in our Suncoast converter. We got a built tranny that we're picking up over at Pila Motorsports. Now while we're over here, he's got some pretty cool stuff, so I wanted to share that with you guys. Adam is like my nerd brother from another mother, and this guy is absolutely awesome. I love Adam. He's so like nerdy and ADD, very much just like me. I've had so much fun with him in the past, building and tuning this truck. Brush. Damn. Oh, it's gotta be good. All right, so that's the one right there. Woohoo! Finally, about a year late. Oh wow! Yeah.
Oh, they're heavy. They're like 450 pounds.
Guys, we're here at Pila Motorsports, and we just got the tranny put in. Can't wait to get it actually
in the truck, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this old tow rig here has definitely been due for a tranny for a bit, but what we did here is it's not all powder coated and trick looking, right? What counts is on the inside, so
my wife tells me that.
Yeah, I love it. Generally on a build like this, we don't need billet shafts, we don't need a bunch of high-end parts. The stock Duramax transmission can handle, you know, almost 700 horsepower on stock shafts, really big internals and stuff in them, so that's really cool.
So the parts that have been upgraded though, let's talk about that real quick.
What we're doing is a full set of Ray-Bestis clutches. We add a few additional clutches by machining down the apply plates to add a few extra friction and steels in there.
Yep.
And the real key is line pressure, right? Just like any transmission. So modifications to the pump increase the main line pressure, and then some modifications in the valve body increase the pressure apply rate, so essentially firming up the shifts. But really, other than that, the Allison doesn't need a lot of physical internal upgrades. Mechanically, like as far as planetaries and shafts, unless you're, you know, 800 plus horse and over 1,500 foot-pounds of torque. So this should work really good. In fact, other than finding a way to somehow snap a shaft, which I would, you know, challenge you to try to do, is the same internal as far as frictions and apply plates and pressures that we would put in a tranny up to, you know, 800 plus horsepower.
Nice.
So should be really solid for what you've got. I've run a similar build like this in my own truck for almost 9 years now.
Unless I'm actually building a motor, doing rods, pistons, and all that, which is a bit outside my budget right now. This is going to be fine for that.
Yeah, bulletproof. Tranny like this with the mods that you have, I would give you a 1-year warranty, even knowing who you are.
What are you trying to say?
You're hard on stuff like me, right? I mean, you know, I'm going to tell you, hey, give it 100 miles, let the tranny learn its adapts and stuff like that, and you're going to pull out of the shop and do a massive burnout.
Man. Heck yeah.
And send me a video and go, dude, I love it.
All right, so between this trans and converter, it's supposed to be just black and white, night and day, just big difference. Like I should expect that converter to lock up really tight, really quickly, or what? So, and I got a bad shuddering right now, a lot. Like it's been happening for 8-9 months easy. It's just like as we're applying and I'm trying to say, you know, and
converter clutch chatter.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
At other trannies. So the triple disc billet, obviously the back of the converter super solid, no flex, and you got the triple disc, so you will not slip the converter once it's locked. There's a lot of times we do a built tranny, a truck like yours will feel really fast to a customer, right? They love it, but it slips, or maybe it goes into limp mode. Right. They're like, all right, I want to build trans, and they get it done, and the first time they run it, if they don't do some trans tuning to raise the shift points, the truck actually feels slower. Because if you watch your truck now, when you floor it, the tach goes, wow, through the gears, right?
Yeah, yep.
The attack really doesn't drop when it shifts gears,
right?
Because there's slip and, you know, losses. Now it's gonna boom, and it's gonna pull the tack down, and all of a sudden, you know, it feels great from a shift perspective, but it might actually run slightly slower in the quarter mile because of the fact that the engine is
okay.
pulled
So
out
our
of the
shift
power.
extension is what's changed. It's actually the reverse of what we'd have on a gas. So say for example, totally get what you're saying now. So
because I nerd out on it.
yeah, no, that's really cool. I told you it was nerdy. Normally when you have a looser stall, let's just say it shifts at 6,000, it might drop down to 5,200 and then shift at 6 back down to 5,200. In essence, it's almost like tightening the converter.
Shortening the shift time. You know, it's
Okay.
going to pull 800 or 1,000 RPM depending on what gear change it is.
Yeah, the percentage is different. So instead of just having this narrow area, we're now going farther.
So we'll raise that up to compensate, and then you will see some significant improvements. These Allison's one of the big good and bad of an Allison transmission. Just like all late model trannies now have shift adapts, right? They got a certain shift timing they're trying to target. So based on the power you're making, they adapt. I don't know how much power you're putting to it. The TCM is going to say, wow, that last shift was a little long, so I'm going to increase line pressure and shift firmer.
Yeah.
But with a DSP5 switch and the fact that you may be towing a 10,000 pound trailer one day,
yeah,
or be on tune 1 and then you're on tune 5 the next day, if you drive around on tune 1 all day and then the Corvette pulls up and you flip it to 5 and hit it, it's going to feel super sloppy. And at the next stoplight, after you've already beat the Corvette, when you pull out, it's going to chirp the tires in second, bang third gear like you've never felt. And you're like, where did that come from?
Hell yeah.
Because the
I want
train's
that.
trying to catch up. So
all of it. Send all of the pressure to me.
absolutely.
I'm good.
Go beat it all the way to the track, so when you get there, the training's shifting right, you know what I mean?
All right, so in the meantime, while we're here, you got a bunch of really cool projects. I really wanted to share that with people that are not familiar with you, but this guy really is a diesel guru, so we got to check out some of the stuff you got here.
Yeah, for sure. We got a couple cool trucks here we can show you. Come check them out.
All right, that looks really expensive.
Yes, yeah, it certainly wasn't cheap. This was a very custom fab job that we coordinated with Pusher Intakes. These 6.7 Power Strokes typically have a water-to-air intercooler system, but as you can see with the compound setup, we built this massive 3-inch Bell intercooler, air-to-air. Had to pretty much redesign all the cooling systems on this truck, from the fuel cooler to the tranny coolers, everything in it is kind of one-off. So this customer is a good friend of mine actually, and he's got a McLaren 720S, and he loves big trucks. So he had this truck already lifted, and he said, do you think you can make a truck that'll hang with my McLaren? And I said, sure.
Very tall order.
Yeah, on 40-inch tires.
Very expensive order.
And a
it's
crew
doable.
truck,
Just
yes.
wow.
Yeah, I told him that the budget was not gonna, it was gonna have to be pretty open-ended for something like this. So it's got, you know, Carrillo rods, custom pistons, billet cam, Elite Diesel CNC ported heads. It's got a 66 with an 83 millimeter on top of it.
Oh, dude, it is just.
It's got a pretty serious turbo system. It's got a huge set of Exergy custom injectors, dual CP4 injection pumps that are both 10 millimeter stroker pumps.
Oh wow.
There's enough fuel for like 1,800 horsepower here. It has destroyed about 5 transmissions.
Oh.
Currently it's got an SPE transmission and a Snyder Performance, and it's holding up pretty good. The first one he said we couldn't break, we snapped the input shaft in half. Now it's cryogenically treated and is actually holding up pretty well. It was on the cover of Diesel Power magazine last year, and it said it was a McLaren eater, you know, and it was flawless. I mean, every part on it, as you can see, it was painted or machined or beautiful, and he takes it to North Carolina and off-roads with them. I mean, scratching the rims, there's freaking tree scratches down the side of it.
Well, at least it's used.
He off-roads it, you know, he uses it, so that's what we built it for. There's a little rust here and there, but as you can see, you kind of got to peek under here to see some of the cool stuff going on.
Yeah.
And of course, some of this is corroding, but there's custom coolers under here.
Oh, wow.
A real train horn system, dual fuel lab brushless pumps with all custom plumbing for the fuel system. We fabricated an aluminum tank.
That's really
all
nice.
king coil over suspension. So at one point, all of this was like SEMA show quality.
Yeah.
But I'm not mad at him for mudding it because that's what we build them for.
Oh, that's awesome. It's nice to see that something that's kind of built like this isn't just a showpiece. You know,
Yeah,
I would want to, if I invested that kind of money, I would use it.
Yeah, that's some other neat projects we got. We're kind of in the dirty end of the shop.
I've been wanting to get one of these on camera forever. This is Bohemian Curly Tail. These guys are so fast. Like, that is a very large lizard. You only see these guys in South Florida. I've seen a bunch of them that kind of totally change color, or like they're kind of purple to blue. They're crazy. He gone. Walking through the shop, there's a couple things that stand out. This thing is so rad.
Yep, this is a custom H2 Hummer with a Duramax. They never came with a Duramax in them. It was shipped to us from Africa.
Africa. That's just baller.
Yep.
Right
If
there.
you're in Africa and you're cruising around,
Yes.
that's not normal, right? So we literally stripped it to the bare frame. As you can see, the chassis has been painted and cleaned. And we're just kind of redoing a lot of stuff that either wasn't assembled, you know, really solidly originally. These diesels move around, stuff rubs, so there's a lot of little leaks and chafes and issues. We're redoing a lot of the intercooler plumbing. We did a bunch of fuel system improvements, AC, electrical. So really just doing a kind of complete overhaul and rebuild on this truck. Try to solve a lot of the issues it's had since it was originally built. We don't typically do a lot of H2 stuff. We work on a lot more H1s. And this one's got our full Duramax conversion in it too.
That was wild.
This started life as a military Humvee, not a civilian Hummer.
So nice.
And this has an
So
element
clean.
in it, same motor that's in your truck.
So clean.
Yep. So these things, this thing's just a blast, man. I mean, this is pretty similar to what you've got in your truck. It's got a mildly built trans, basic turbo upgrade. You know, it's probably 500 and change to the tire, but you know, H1s, what's really unique about them, not only are they aluminum body and four-wheel independent suspension, but they have a geared hub. So
Really?
there's a 2-to-1 gear reduction right here.
Oh my gosh, I had no
The
idea.
CV shaft comes
That's
in
crazy.
here and rotates backwards.
That's crazy.
So it has half the stress on the driveline. So you can put 40-inch tires on it and it's not really hard on the drivetrain at all.
That's wild.
And this truck, we stripped it down to a bare body. It got Line X. Jeff, my fabricator, he's phenomenal. Built the entire dash from hand out of aluminum.
I love the Line X, and the dash does look awesome.
Yeah, I have the digital monitor out of it right now, but
Dude, I'm jealous about that brake. That is awesome.
yeah,
That's a nice
an
one.
old piece of equipment. They don't make them like they used to.
Yeah. All right, so we're back across the state. These guys are tearing this thing apart fast. You guys are making really good progress already.
I appreciate it, Jeremy.
This is Twin Diesel Performance.
What's up, guys? What's up?
So we met you through Luke next door, and you guys just were hanging out one night, and you guys offer your hands up for some help. And dude, I totally took you up on it because you guys are like, it would probably take us maybe 4 hours to do what you guys are gonna do in 2 potentially.
Exactly.
Pretty familiar with the job, right?
Yep,
And
100%. I do a lot of Duramax work.
so these guys are right in the middle of the state in Lakeland. That's just kind of just outside of Tampa area.
All big three, so that's kind of one thing that separates us from everybody else. You know, the shop is we're massing all of them: Power Strokes, Cummins, and Duramax.
So this is Daniel, this is Dalton.
What's up, guys?
So run us down a couple of the big snags with this job.
So anybody that's ever changed the trans out on a Duramax, no matter if you're doing with the LBZ all the way up to an LML, starter is the biggest pain in the butt for sure. I mean, once that's out, it's pretty straightforward, no two ways about it. You know, just little tricks of the trade that we've learned over the years doing so many of them. You know, but kind of once you do your first, it's kind of just a repetition roll from there, you know?
This is like an incredibly heavy transmission compared to what we would normally deal with. You guys muscle this thing around, and
100%.
had a tranny jack. A couple weeks ago, we were working on it, and the thing popped out. Puked fluid all over Georgie. It was a pretty fun time, actually.
Yeah.
You know, watching Georgia all squirm around with trans fluid and all whatever. But we got the thing fixed, thank God. We're gonna put that thing to work because definitely it's like 450.
450 depending on converter application. It's definitely a heavy guy.
All right, so I went with the right way with the Suncoast converter, right?
Yeah, Suncoast is good for
Okay.
sure.
Well, I want to go open that thing up and take a look at it. I haven't really seen anything
Yeah,
with it, but
yeah.
triple disc, and
Yeah, hell yeah.
should be pretty sweet. So one of the other things that we want to check out is as we're taking the trans out, we're going to push out all of the fluid that is through the cooler line right now just to see exactly how messed up the trans and or the converter are. So we're hoping we don't see large chunks of steel or anything like that, but it has slipped really, really bad in the past.
I'm using the wrong tool. All right, cool. Yep.
Oh, wow.
Big boy.
Yeah, that is nice.
Triple disc for sure. Yep.
See, it's like, you know, the shoemaker's children go shoeless. It's
That's it.
pretty much, yeah.
Life of the shop owner.
Yeah.
We're literally about to snatch the trans out now. So yeah, everything's definitely going good. Came apart real nice for sure.
Yeah, we seem like if we're at the tipping point right now, we're right near that time frame where we said. So
100%.
that is a big unit. Now, how does this compare compared to the like, you know, Cummins and the Power Stroke stuff?
Pretty comparable. The new Power Stroke stuff, the 6R140s that are in the 6.7s, man, are a lot more beastly than what these things are. You know, Cummins stuff, you know, for the most part, you know, dimensions between the 48 and 68s kind of stayed the same. You know what I mean? A little difference, but yeah, man, definitely, I'd say Allison's and the 6Rs definitely take the cake on the heaviest trans for sure.
Now, I gotta ask you this.
Yeah.
All right, so I am a gigantic fan of that new 10-speed that both Ford and GM got together to do.
Oh yeah.
How do you like it so far?
I do. My brother's got a new 2020 High Country, and it's phenomenal. I will say I think Chevrolet did a little bit better of tuning characteristics on the 10-speed than what the Power Strokes did.
You think so?
I feel like the Power Strokes defuel a little harder, you know what I mean, in between gear transition and all that, but they're phenomenal. It's definitely going to be kind of cool to see, you know, how much they take and you know, longevity of them for sure.
Gotcha. My buddy just traded in his 16, you know, Duramax, and then he just got a 2020, and he's like, dude, it's so quick. He's like, it feels really good. I'm like, I think you could stick 350 wheel horsepower on like whatever and stick it behind that 10-speed, or stick it in front of that 10-speed, and it'll be fast. Now, you know, we do a lot of the ZL1s, and they got that trans, and I freaking love it. It is amazing. But I really wish I could get one of those 10 speeds in here. That would be game changer.
It really would. So it's like, even I know on my brother's 2020, you know, even him and Dalton mess around. He's got a new Eco Boost and all that. That's got some, you know, a 93 tune and all that stuff on it. And honestly, David Struck's stock is pretty compatible, you know what I mean, from low end to mid end, you know, on that setup versus what Dalton has, you know.
Well, it's a big one.
Yep. She's out.
It's gonna be the only fresh, clean part back in the truck, though.
Right. Oh yeah.
All right, so just pulled out the converter. Got a little splooge, but dude, that main shaft is pretty beastly. You're just saying, you see these snap all the time?
Yeah, we've seen them snap several times. You know, people start making upwards of 6, 7 plus. You know, doing lots of burnouts and stuff. Really, what causes it? But yeah, they get snapped quite a bit.
That's big. That's crazy.
Torque load, you know, for sure. Definitely hell on parts. You ready?
Yeah. Oh, shit!
Done.
There was something blocking that one.
There is?
There was, not no more.
All right, so this is what we were talking about.
Okay, a little less, please. This isn't the best way to do this, but working with what we got.
I was totally expecting to see you got like sprayed all over the face. We seen any like metal bits or anything like that yet, or what?
Seen anything metal, metallic?
No, there wasn't no metal or anything.
There was a little bit of metallic or whatever on the drain plug when we drained it. You know what I mean? But I mean, nothing crazy. It's just a little burnt.
We're trying to clean anything out that might be residual or sedimentary that would have settled in there. What kind of pressure does this have too?
Varies on tuning and how the valve body's adjusted, you know. So, I mean, people can ramp them up to, you know, 225, 250 psi with the line pressure. But I mean, generally constant, I want to say on factory spec will be 65 between gear shifts and raise line back up after a gear change to about 125, 135 pounds. So,
well, supposedly that one's supposed to have all the beans right there.
Yeah, so we should be good for sure.
So whatever was settled might not be afterwards. Yeah, so yeah, exactly. That's right. Same deal, 3 clicks.
Same deal.
All right, I've been watching these guys and they've been doing a very thorough job. If you guys visit these guys, you're gonna be in really, really good hands. Well, I liked how meticulous you guys were.
That's it.
Very good, man.
Torque wrench on everything.
All right, so we just got the trainee in, doing an oil change, all the other business, about ready to fire her up. While they've been doing that, I've been working on a blue Camaro here, and not only do we have a blue Camaro, we have a red, a white, and a blue Camaro. All of which are coming in for one thing or another. We've been totally slammed. We haven't had George this week, so it's been a really tough week for us, but these guys coming in, saving the day. We got some things that we gotta take care of with this truck. Got some big trips that I gotta go to, so it's gotta be performing absolutely top notch. So I really appreciate these guys going through everything, making sure it's all gonna be reliable. All right, so we got this thing all back together. It was another crazy late night. I think we got home about 3 a.m. again, but we got the job done. So this thing feels so much better. I want to say a huge thank you to Twin Diesel Performance and Pila Motorsports for making this happen. All right, so you've been in it before, Christian, so what does it feel like? Is it like, what do you think?
Feels way faster, shifts way harder.
I like that. Yeah, actually it has a pretty firm downshift. It didn't do it right there, but it's just a quick little. We got some bald tires. We've been having some major wheel hop. I was kind of just walking into it to keep it from breaking traction, but it did actually a little bit there. I haven't been able to run on full power for a while because, well, just the trans wouldn't hold it.
A 4-wheel drive.
I haven't done a 4-wheel drive one in a while, so let's just try a quick little over there. Oh man, that's actually going to be that's going to be hard for, I think, Laz and George to compete with though.
Yeah, I haven't been in their trucks yet.
Yeah, they're really quick and all that, but I mean, they got the top end and this thing's got the bottom end, that's for sure. Couldn't come in a more perfect time. We got 3 totally good running trucks, all of which we're going to come down to a showdown. Or maybe get some George some tires or something. His truck is so fast, it really did not do good at the drag strip trying to put it down with street tires, you know. Really.
Oh, brake boosting. Woo!
That wasn't bad at all, man.
Yeah, that felt pretty good.
Shift right there. I think that's gonna be pretty competitive.
Yeah.
That's I know George's doesn't, either George's would just spin, but Laz is gonna have all the beans right there.
Flooring it?
We're pegging out that map sensor. It's like 37 pounds right there.
Drift to U-turn.
Ugh. Alright, we gotta do one more launch. Green signal came on. That was attached, I thought, man. Alright, fellas, well, thanks for hanging out for this episode. This has been awesome. This has been such a monumental thing for this truck. We got so much stuff planned for the future for it, so I'm so stoked. Want to leave you guys with a song here, and check this one out. It's by All That Remains, and it's What If I Was Nothing. Hope you guys enjoy. God bless you. We'll see you next episode.